Welcome to Vantage Point 27. I remember the first time I became very fascinated by storytelling. I was 16. There was a show on the television, a book review, and the author was interviewed. Regretfully, I don't remember the name of the author or the book, but I remember what I learned from the interview. The story was set in the Victorian era and was narrated in the third person. What the writer was praised for, among other aspects of his writing, and what really astounded me at that time. Not only had he perfected the Victorian era setting in his story and the characters, but he had used words and manner of language as though he was from the Victorian era himself. I thought what an expert wordsmith he must be to be able to use language used in that time, a time he didn't grow up or live in. And this was when I first learned the significance of using a particular set of words when narrating a particular story. Gradually, over the years, as I read more books, my knowledge about the craft of writing increased. One of the most important things I learned was how to balance your story. For example, in my story Spellrania, Rogue, the lead character, has to ask help from two lazy koalas. I was worried at that point in the story I might send my readers to sleep. But since Spellrania wasn't narrated with the rule of adhering strictly to the vocabulary of medieval times, I took advantage of it, and I applied what I think is a key experience, which can jumpstart any reader's senses. That is when a car can accelerate after being stuck in traffic. I think all readers have been in a traffic jam at least once in their lives. However, when writing the chains, in which the vocabulary, terminology, metaphors weren't limited to medieval times, I had to use vocabulary and things which we have in common throughout the ages. I turned to light and darkness, the moon and the stars, music, paper and ink, among other effects. I made them mediums for expressing various different emotions, but the art of storytelling isn't just in books, it's in all sorts of different fiction, forms. Non-fiction, journalism, paintings, poems, songs, movies. There's story in all of these things. A big story, a small story, a story with a beginning and an end, a story which foreshadows something that's about to happen and leaves it there. Your imagination does the rest. Like paintings and poems, they never tell a complete story. But of course, the prominent form of storytelling is in words, spoken or written. Many people are aware of the responsibility of how we use our words, expressions, etc. The laws regarding freedom of speech or expression differ depending on where you live in the world. I could speak about those who have misused freedom of expression and speech simply to make controversy and get their 15 minutes of fame. But I prefer to talk about something which I hope to bring to the attention of others who may still not have realized the magnitude of its impact. Any work you put out there in whatever form will affect not just the current generation, but generations to come in a big or small way. And this effect is like wildfire in the field of entertainment rather than education. Unfortunately, though a lot of people study, most just do it to get a job so they can get on with their lives. In the case of such people, whatever they study has very little effect on their overall mentality, because it's not in their hearts. It comes in one ear and out the other, leaving no lasting prints on their minds. So what would really influence such people? The answer, in my opinion, is entertainment. Entertainment they choose is their free choice, not something they have to do to get a job and pay their bills. Sad to say that in entertainment, I have seen a lot of compromise in the social responsibilities in favor of whatever brings in more money. Whatever it takes to make a story a bestseller, book or movie, without taking into consideration the potential danger of how this will affect millions in our era and the future. Perhaps the clearest way to understand how your work can affect lives is to think that somewhere out there is a lonely broken person or a child with no mother and father for guidance.